Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, everybody, for coming today and everybody who's on Zoom as well. So it's funny when I think back on my networking journey. Had you told me 11 years ago that I'd be talking to you all or running a former member of running a women's networking group, I would have thought that you were absolutely crazy. But about 10 years ago, a friend of mine called and asked me to talk to a friend of hers from New York City. And she had started a great women's networking group in New York City. She also was the fashion and beauty editor for More magazine. And she sounded interesting. And they told me that they wanted to open this position in Fairfield County. And I thought, well, there's not a chance in hell I'm going to do that. Networking to me sounded sleazy and salesy. But I thought, I'll be polite, I'll talk to her. And I did, and we had a really great conversation. She's an amazing woman. And I really heard her passion for, yes, it was networking, but really connecting women and helping to connect women. And I thought, well, I'd love to host parties. I love to connect people. I've just kind of always done that. And I'd love to help women. So I thought, maybe I can turn this around, this bad networking word around, and make it a place for women to come connect, encourage, and inspire each other. And we would have guest speakers, and we would also, have a learning and educational aspect to it. So I signed on, and I did it for 8 years, held monthly, sometimes bi-monthly events at local great venues, and met so many amazing women. I think Linda has been, Deborah was at several of them. And I loved doing it. I really loved it. The most special thing about it was making those connections and those great friendships. Then COVID hit. So that was kind of over because we couldn't be in person, obviously. And I'm a real estate agent, and real estate was beyond crazy. So what did you say?
I just said enough said.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, I'm so excited to be part of HAYVN, where I can kind of continue that and meet such great women and be amongst you all. So it's a pleasure to be here. And so introduction we've done, and we will talk about the benefits of networking opportunities, and some best practices. So what is networking? It's a way for individuals to grow the relationships for their job or their business. Networking helps build meaningful relationships that are beneficial to all involved, and to exchange information and services. So often it's said, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that is so important in so many different instances. So some benefits of networking: job opportunities, collaboration, sharing ideas, building relationships, and gaining support. Take your time. Perfect.
You just have to click on the presentation again.
So some networking opportunities. Certainly HAYVN is the best place to network, as we all know. So professional organizations as well. Industry events, think trade shows, seminars, anything to do with your industry. Business lunches and coffees, which is such a great way to connect and have more of a one-on-one conversation and really build those relationships, or have a small group of women or men together for lunches and for coffees. I find these are really, really powerful. And hobbies, it's a great way to network, to get to know somebody, build relationships, play pickleball, go golfing, whatever you like to do. Also book clubs. Book clubs is another really great one.
The dog park.
And the dog park, oh my God, that's a fabulous one. Yeah, that's a great one. And social media, this, has just exploded over the years. I've met so many new people on social media, and it's so much fun when you see them and meet them in person after kind of getting to know them and seeing their family and their friends and everything that they do on social media. And that's what social media is for, you know, and LinkedIn for professional people, again, to build those relationships and make new contacts. And Threads, is anybody using Threads yet?
Yeah.
But it's not yet.
It's like the new Twitter. It's an Instagram, a new app, but
Owned by Meta.
yeah, just another social media place for us. And anywhere, you can network anywhere. I mean, even when my husband and I go to dinner parties, I mean, I'm not really there to business network, but I'm always thinking of questions that I can ask them, ways to connect with people. So really networking anywhere. And I mean natural networking. I don't mean, you know, that that sleazy salesy networking. So here are some of the best practices. Be genuine and authentic. That's a huge one. Build relationships over time. You know, making these connections are great, but it takes time to you know, earn that trust and have those friendships. Be a good listener. This one is key. It's better to be a great listener instead of just thinking it's all about you and just handing out your business cards. You really want to listen to the people that you are talking to and give them your full attention. And give before you get. Again, make it all about them, not about you, and it will come back to you in spades. Stay organized. This is a really good one. Make sure you have your business cards like all in one pocket or in one place in your purse, so you're not fumbling around. And then when you get business cards, put those in another pocket or another place so that you stay organized, and really make the most out of your networking. Make people feel good. As Maya Angelou said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And it's so true. Be proactive, have a plan. You know, go in there and be proactive. Talk to as many people as you possibly can. Sometimes I know we're not in the mood to do so, but you're there, make the best of it. And have
I love it.
I love that. I should have asked you if it was okay to you. But you're clearly having fun. And then this woman Marie chair at the wine taste. I mean, that's what it's all about. Make it fun. And that was such a fun event that it's clearly coming through on your face.
I'm feeling really right.
Yeah. And understand your personal networking goals. So have a goal when you go to a networking event. Think that, you know, you're going to meet 5 great people or have 5 great conversations. Have a goal so you're not just kind of wandering around wondering what to do. Another thing is, you know, a lot of times we go to these networking events and we don't know anybody. So it's kind of like, have a plan, like who are you going to talk to? I kind of gravitate towards the women who clearly don't know anybody either. That's an easy way to strike conversations. Also, if there's a line for the bar for food, that's also another great place. People in line always seem to talk to other people. So some networking rules. Obviously, always carry your business cards. That goes without saying. And again, have them in a place that they're easy to give out and a place where you can receive them as well. Know your elevator pitch, make it clear and concise, and make sure that it's about how you help people. I was at a networking thing just the other day, and this woman said, and I put it in here just for everybody to see, that this is such a great elevator pitch kind of template. And it's, I am the one who helps your client to fix whatever problem that is so that they can and get the result. And I thought that this was really a good one. I've got to kind of redo mine in my head after seeing this. And always, always, always follow up. what good is it going to a networking event, meeting these great people and not following up? And there's so many ways to follow up. Handwritten notes are really great. But also through email, and connect with them on social media. That's a great place to stay in touch with them.
Do you have any technology versus the business cards, like any trends that people are doing?
So yeah, there's the dot business card now that like you have a little dot that you put on the back of your phone, and it easily, I say easily, transmits the contact information, but it doesn't always work. So like have a backup plan. Also QR codes are great. Super easy, and you know, you can have a LinkedIn QR code, you could have a web page QR code, you could have a business card QR code, you could have an Instagram QR code.
And Instagram has it on the drop down.
Exactly.
You click it, the QR
Yeah.
code will come up and someone can
Absolutely.
scan it.
Yeah. And they have it on LinkedIn. Yeah, so if you go on LinkedIn on your phone and you go to the app, and I think you go, my phone is off. I can show you afterwards, but I think you go to the little people icon on the bottom and you hit plus. It should say create QR code.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, that's another
easy.
great way
Yeah, it
to
is.
easily share information.
Mhm.
But again, it's always great to have a backup of just business cards, because sometimes that's just easier. And sometimes people are fumbling with their phones and they're not sure how it's working. So, and like I said, just always follow up. So where to network? Obviously, the best place is HAYVN, as I said. Industry conferences, professional associations, volunteering is also another great thing. Alumni groups, personal hobbies, community projects, social media, meetup groups, lunches and coffees.
Can I add churches?
Absolutely.
You know, those are interesting places.
Absolutely.
And car washes? No.
I've
But
met
that
some people.
was for you, and that was great.
Yeah.
Have a bench and you're working.
Yeah.
You're in. I met so many people there. They showed up here. It was like,
That's
cool.
true.
Well, that's, I mean, literally, you can do it absolutely anywhere. A bunch of us that I know on Instagram, we've never met each other. We're having lunch together in 2 weeks. Which I found really a fun thing to do. Now, what to say? This is a great question, because so often you just really don't know what to say. So here are some tips. Obviously, ask about them. What do you do? What industry are you in? Have you ever been to this space before? Do you know the hostess? Those are great starters. Also think of FORD, which means family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. If you think along those lines, that always gives you something to talk about. How many kids do you have? You know, are you going away this summer? Do you have any goals for next year or for the new year? And then always ask how you can help them. Again, they will return the favor and ask the same of you. So here are some great books and podcasts to listen to. Is anybody else like obsessed with podcasts?
Yes.
I mean, just love them. So the top one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think that's kind of like the networking book. Never Eat Alone, which is great. Give and Take, Atomic Habits, which is great as well. How to Talk to Anybody. And then on the other side is the podcast, The Art of the Charm, Entrepreneur on Fire, The Tim Ferriss Show, HBR Idea Cast, and How to Be Awesome at Your Job. All of these are great.
Can you just hold it?
Absolutely. There you go.
We'll post this on social.
Perfect.
Which ones have you read?
I've read all of them except for Give and Take.
Yeah.
And they're all great.
Really?
Thank you. This is very valuable.
I like the elevator pitch quote that you had, because oftentimes, and I still need to perfect mine, but oftentimes I'm trying to help salespeople just stay very concise and focused. And I've always coached them on make sure you just give a couple of key buzzwords to just to let people know why you're credible in the room. Like, I have this amount of experience, or I work for these amount of companies, but I like how you had the helped. And this is the result. Like, I think that's a very powerful way to consider introducing yourself. So I'm gonna take that back to my teams as well. So thank you.
I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna redo mine as well. Mine's about me, not about how I help people.
Yeah, that's why it's so good.
And that, yeah, I think that's very powerful, definitely.
I think our next halftime is about, developing your elevators pitch. Or I dreamed about it last night.
It will be after, yeah.
It is, right? It's Michelle. Michelle, Hartside. Developing your elevators next month.
It's really important. People will tune out if you make it all about that, about yourself, and if it's too long. I mean, you know, it should be an elevator pitch that, you know, from floor 1 to floor 2, you know, not to floor 90. And all of that. So in summary, be prepared. As I said before, this is really, really a top thing that you want to do. Know what you're gonna do. Go in with a plan, okay? Be authentic. Again, I mean, we hear this over and over these days, but there's something that's so true about it. Be memorable. Have a clear and concise elevator pitch that showcases your value proposition, but also how you help people. And follow up. Make sure you follow up with an email or message within 24 to 48 hours, and give back. Remember, networking is a two-way street. So offer to help others and make introductions to people in your network. You know, again, if you say, how can I help you? They will always return the favor. So overall, networking and making connections with people can help you and your business. It can bring you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose to your life. And thank you all so much for being here.
Yay.
I would love some questions, comments, whatever you guys want to talk about.
Well, I can say that after meeting people, it's all great, and then you know, exchange information. And sometimes it's hard to follow up.
Yes.
I'll send something, either a note or email, I don't get anything back. Then I do it again, you know, after a little time, and then you feel like, well, did it not arrive? They don't want to talk to me anymore. And so it's kind of tough, I think, to keep that going, because I feel like, well, if I send 4 more, maybe they'll come back, maybe I'll hear from them. But it gets frustrating, and so I'm like, oh, forget about it, you know.
Well, again, you know, you have to take the approach of natural connections. If one person isn't feeling it, maybe it's not the right connection. You know what I mean? You want to be around like-minded people and people who want to hear from you.
Okay.
And make sure that you're asking what you can do for them as well. You know, some people, it might not be the right fit.
Or it might not be the right time.
Right,
It could be
absolutely,
that they're in the midst of
Yeah, maybe
a lot.
preoccupied.
absolutely. But if it's worth the connection, then keep on maybe, you know, connect on social media.
That's a good idea.
Reply to the post or
Right,
LinkedIn, you know.
right. Which is for networking.
Yeah.
So if they're on LinkedIn, they shouldn't be appalled that you're reaching out to them.
So in other words, no more excuses.
And focus on the people that you are making that natural connection with. Yeah, because not everybody's you're gonna click with.
So, so I use LinkedIn a lot for not only like just for professional, like past people I've worked with. And so that's been a useful tool, but I can see here you also have Insta. Do you try to, I mean, I guess typically with maybe for real estate, you would be using both
Yes.
for connection, but for me, I like to keep my personal on Insta and LinkedIn very business oriented.
Which is completely fine. I mean, all depending on, you know, what business we're in. For Karen and I mean, you kind of have to be out there as much as we possibly can. LinkedIn, I too, it's all professional, you know, you're not gonna see pictures of my kids there.
Right, right.
And on Instagram, I try to do both because people want to see you and you being authentic. So I try to, you know, date night, take pictures, you know, sometimes. I won't post my kids unless, you know, I get the okay, but you'll see a lot of my dog because he can't talk back to me. And obviously post real estate things that I hope my videos like help people. It's not just about what I just sold or just listed.
Right,
So you kind of have that balance.
right,
Yeah.
Although I have found like, when we posted like more personal things on LinkedIn, it really was, we get a lot more
that's
attention.
true.
Like we posted Malou's,
Oh, that's
did
true.
a little mini entrepreneur fair and they were like little.
Oh,
and
that's
that was our
so
shop.
it was
relevant.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
It wasn't like we did it on purpose, but that was the biggest boost.
Isn't it funny? Yeah.
I think you're right. It does show that although you're a professional, that you are a person
Yeah.
as well, right? And you have maybe, you know, interests or.
Especially today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good tip and like something to consider for me, because I keep it so in the box on LinkedIn, like it might be nice to kind of open that lens a little bit, yeah. Just a
No, that's
little,
a good point, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
How do you feel about like being on all the platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook?
I don't think you
Right.
have to be on all of them,
Okay.
pick the ones that work for you. You know, I'm probably the oldest person on TikTok, but I'm on it because I do the videos anyway.
Yeah,
So
so
it's so
you can
easy
just
for me
put
to
it
just
there.
put them on TikTok. But do the ones that work for you.
Okay.
Because there's an element of engagement, you have to actually be kind of active,
Oh, you do.
but otherwise, because
Yeah.
my Instagram posts automatically Facebook. So you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
I love Prince food.
Thank you, yes, I think you start to see my
It works
Facebook.
with Insta.
It works for Instagram, but because I post it automatically Facebook and I look at it every so often, I look at it, there's an element of nobody actually. It doesn't seem to get any.
To relate,
engagement.
right,
It doesn't reach anybody.
Facebook is so
Yeah.
different though. I feel like
It is.
I feel like the
completely different.
viewership and the likes are less than.
They
It's very,
seem to be.
yeah, I feel like,
Again, unless like for your personal page, like for
Yeah.
your birthday, you're gonna get a billion
right,
messages.
exactly.
If you post, you know, that your kids graduated or something, those get a lot of engagement
On Facebook.
on
And then there's My
Facebook.
sister-in-law who she's going to wedding, she gets 256 likes or something.
Right.
Those are just that kind of. those are
Right.
Facebook
And what's your handle on Instagram so we all can follow you?
Carolyn's Sad Foods.
Oh, perfect. Oh, I do follow you. Absolutely.
I'm also finding, interestingly enough, that if you post stories, you're getting a lot more engagement and
Absolutely.
followers
Mhm.
than
So,
you would on the post. So I'm just learning as we go, right?
Yeah.
And then on LinkedIn, there are many more followers than people connecting with you formally.
yes,
So that's also good too.
absolutely, absolutely. Stories are where the
Action is.
action
It seems
is.
so.
And when you message somebody on stories, they get a direct
Mhm.
message.
Mhm.
So you can easily
Right.
start a conversation.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you'll see much more engagement on stories than on posts.
I also find that this sounds so totally old fashioned. I call people. I really enjoyed meeting you. How you doing? You want to go have a
Yeah,
cup of tea?
absolutely.
That's nice.
And people are like,
Nice
you're
touch.
actually calling me? You're not
Right.
sending an email?
I know.
You know,
Right?
I mean,
right.
I just think it's getting out of the, to use the expression, but the rut of doing it the way everybody else does.
Right.
And maybe, you know, flying by in a hot air balloon. No, I'm not kidding. Seriously, like doing things that are unusual.
Well, right.
know?
And the stories are where the conversations can start.
Exactly.
And then you can say, you know what, I'm gonna pick up the phone and let's talk, or
Yeah.
let's grab lunch. or
Let's grab lunch, right.
Coffee or
Mhm.
play golf
Mhm.
or something like
Right.
that.
I think it's generational too, because I
I was
think,
gonna say the
I
same
think
thing. Linda.
probably most people that are 40 and over. Maybe are like more into like getting the phone call or making that personal connection.
Right.
Cause I think it sends people texting, I'm like, all right, I don't wanna go back and forth on 10 text messages,
Yeah.
let's just hop on the phone.
Yes.
Yeah, I get.
We can do
nervous
it in like 2
phone
minutes,
calls.
but then my kids are like.
Yeah.
"Why
Right, exactly.
would I
When I-
why would I call them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
My phone's not even, and I'm above 40, but at my phone.
Right.
Yeah.
And the value of that handwritten note is.
Oh my God, it's huge. If you can do that, that's more
It's
than
business
anything.
etiquette that I think has gone out the window,
Right,
in my opinion.
yeah.
I think we need to do more of that kind of stuff. It's old fashioned.
Oh,
The way
absolutely.
business has been done for generations, and then we sort of forgot about it because we got caught up in the social electronic thing.
Yeah.
Right.
COVID.
Let's remember we're people.
Right,
Yes.
absolutely. It's all about making those natural connections and talking to people.
Right.
See, I always get that because I'm in a bank,
Right.
so whenever I call someone, what's wrong with my?
Yeah. It's like we think they owe money, I like, it's like, oh, money?
I get the reverse, I'm like.
Did I not pay?
I'm just calling to see how you're doing.
Right.
Yeah. Really?
Just in the interest of this too, we'll stop the recording,
Absolutely,
and then we can keep talking,
absolutely.
right? And-
Yes, and if